Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and this is Navigational Astrology. Welcome to your Virgo New Moon of 2022. This is the moon of hidden worlds. Hey everyone, welcome to my subscribers. Welcome if you are new. We're very happy to have you. On this channel, I talk about astrology, mysticism, folk magic, living with the natural cycles of the earth, and pushing our edges of consciousness. So this is our Virgo new moon of 2022. I have a hair in my mouth. And it's almost as if every every new moon, every full moon, every retrograde, every single thing that is happening right now astrologically is just crazy powerful. By the time this new moon happens, Mars has entered Gemini and will be in Gemini until March of 2023. I've done a video on this. Please check it out. It is highly galactic and very exciting. I think you'll really enjoy it. So in navigational astrology, we look at the Virgo Pisces axis, as the axis of service. And I am not alone in the opinion that Virgo is, if not the most psychic zodiac sign, if not the, then one of. So this axis of Virgo and Pisces is just this mutable, intuitive axis of energy that begs us to grow. Virgo wants us to step up our game. And in that game, Virgo holds the key to the world of proper, healthy relationships with others, with the world, all different types of relationships. We cannot enter relationship properly without having healthy Virgo energy. And we all have Virgo energy. Virgo is a mutable earth sign, so she wants to continue to grow and change all the time. She has a dual nature, like many signs, if not all the signs. We all have dual natures to ourselves, and every part of us has a dual nature. Virgo is blessed, some would say cursed, with dual vision, where she can see what is down to the little nitty-gritty details, and she can see how to make it better. She can view into the future, a lot like Sagittarius. There's a long vision where she can be in the now and she can spy the future. And if she is not growing, moving towards that vision that she holds in the future, it's a very agitating, uncomfortable feeling. And so sometimes that's why that sort of nitpicky perfectionism can come in. It's simply to, sometimes unconsciously, but nevertheless, it is to get the ball rolling, to get things moving. She does not actually need perfection. She only needs movement and change and growth, even if it's tiny baby steps. Now, Virgo the Virgin, again, this idea that we have of Virgo as the Virgin, there is also a dual nature with that, where Virgo is actually really embodies the energy of the Madonna and the whore. This is Eve and Lilith, all in one, this dual nature. And she's ruled by Mercury and Chiron, the healer, which is how we do that work of improving so that we can be in proper relationships. This is beautiful. So here is our Virgo new moon on August 27th, 2022 at 4:17 a.m. That is Eastern Standard Time. So here is our sun moon conjunction at 4 degrees and 4 minutes of Virgo. Now, this new moon is opposing the Royal Fixed Star Fomalhaut. And Fomalhaut is one of the rare fixed stars that is almost entirely, if not entirely, positive in nature. A lot of fixed star astrology is like doom and gloom, but we all kind of agree that Fomalhaut is special in this benefic quality. Fomalhaut is also known as the solitary one, which is interesting because Virgo in tarot is the hermit, the solitary one, the one who goes within to grow, the one who is led by the lamplight of their own soul, of their own wisdom that they have tenderly and lovingly cultivated and harvested as a harvest goddess. Virgo is associated with Demeter, harvest goddess. Just a little side note before I forget is Demeter has an asteroid, and even though she's not shown here on the chart, she's actually at 28 degrees of Leo right now. So she is in a bit of a wide conjunction with this new moon, 5 degrees or so. I normally would not consider a 5-degree orb with an asteroid to be anything worth talking about, but because it's Demeter, we'll mention it. Fomalhaut is called the Watcher of the South. And if you work with the 4 directions, South represents fire, passion. This is also where we can sit and learn, facing the North, which is where our ancestors and our lessons are. So again, we have a dual nature of student teacher. I wrote a blog article about Fomalhaut a few years ago. I will link it in the description box below. Some interesting stuff in there. Check it out. So aside from the opposition with Fomalhaut, we have a very tight square with Mars in Gemini. Very tight. Look at that. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. This is very, very tight. And Mars is doing some things. I mean, Mars, again, you'll want to watch my video on Mars and Gemini, because the fact that Mars just entered Gemini and is about to do this whole crazy thing and is in such a tight square with this new moon is very telling. And Gemini is the ruling, or the co-sign that Mercury rules with Virgo. I mean, there's really no way around the agitating feeling of Mars squaring this new moon. Mars squaring the moon is a bit ouchy. This can feel like an assault to our tenderness. Mars squaring the sun can be like, even in our in our best intentions, where we are doing our best to hold solid boundaries, to be direct, to be courageous, to embody all of these aspects of Mars, where we're seeking courage, we're doing the thing afraid, we're still doing it because we're embracing the courage of Mars. When it's in a square like this, it's like it still kind of doesn't go right. People can't accept us. There's still this like abrasive sandpapery thing. So this is uncomfortable. but it's also motivating. So, however this feels to you, let that motivate you to grow, because that's what it's all about when we're talking about Virgo. So, let's take a look at Mercury here. Mercury, this is so this is so potent. It's not even funny. Mercury is sitting right on the Supergalactic Center, which is the basically the sun that our galaxy and 32 other galaxies orbit, rotate around. This is a stream of powerful galactic wisdom. It's a massive black hole, and whenever a planet is conjunct the supergalactic center, there is a voraciousness, hunger, a voracious hunger, like hangry, like Mercury's hangry here, hangry for wisdom, hangry for justice and truth, hangry for knowledge, and 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 we also have what in a former video I called a hard eye. I've decided that I'm actually going to call this a glass eye, and I'm calling it that because I've never heard another astrologer talk about this aspect pattern. That of course doesn't mean no one ever has. I just haven't come across it. What I have come across is something called an eye that is a sextile with two semi-sextiles. But what I'm talking about here with the newly named glass eye is this square with two semi-squares. So we have this square with the nodes, well, specifically the South Node and Venus, and then Venus and Mercury in a semi-square, and Mercury and the South Node in a semi-square. Now, what happens here is that this Mercury is actually at the midpoint of the South Node and Venus. So when Venus is squaring the nodes, this can like give us like what can feel like bad luck when it comes to love, money, creativity, relationships, being seen, being valued by ourselves and by others. But the truth is that we really just have to grow up. And by grow up, I mean we have to drop the fantasies that we have around those things. We have to drop the false value systems that Western society has given us, which are not our fault, but are our responsibility to snap out of. Snap out of it. Mercury here, well, before I go there, the snapping out of it really just looks like making real shit work in the real world by embracing growth, maturity, tenacity, patience, self-love, care, all of that, doing the work. People who have Venus squaring their nodes natally will often have a string of bad luck in relationships until something clicks and there's like a fantasy thing that we snap out of. I'm saying this because I have that. I know, you know. So Mercury here is asking this energy to be focused into a voracious need, a voracious desire for knowledge, for communication, for ideas, for genius. I mean, this is not a small energy. Mercury here is taking all of this, is funneling into Mercury here. Of course, we have this trine with Pluto, so shit's deep. We have a trine with Mars. So we have gas in the tank. We have the fortitude, the stamina to take this, to do it, to embrace this very, very powerful galactic stream of wisdom that is just like stampeding towards us. Stampeding. It's a lot. It's exciting. I mean, just I know I keep talking about Mars and Gemini because I'm so excited about this, but like this is so, you guys, this is so much energy. Now, because I keep speaking of Mars, I do want to just mention that in this lunar cycle, Mars will be entering his pre-retrograde shadow on September 3rd, and he will be conjunct Royal Fixed Star Aldebaran and opposing Royal Fixed Star Antares. So Mars will be activating this axis of the head and heart, of the heart and the mind, asking us to activate our high heart, the part of us where we can love and think in perfect harmony, where there's not a dualistic nature in us. It's a harmony. It's a balance of wisdom, heart-based wisdom, and head-based wisdom. Why am I calling this the moon of hidden worlds? Well, for one, I'm referring to that dual nature of Virgo, also the dual nature of Mercury, who is a time traveler, who represents traveling in between worlds, going into the unseen, gathering knowledge, bringing it back. With him at the Supergalactic Center, he's going to be bringing us a lot of things. Like, you know, Mercury is conflated with Odin, and you know, Odin has his two crows. I think they're called Mind and Wisdom. I can't, I'm probably wrong about that. But, you know, think of how on TikTok all the people are befriending crows and they're bringing gifts. This is kind of what this is going to be like. So I already said this in the Mars and Gemini video, but I'm going to say this now. Literally, we should be walking around writing down or documenting somehow every idea that we have, because when it comes to these super galactic points, there's an incubation phase between an idea that we get and the true understanding of it that comes later, sometimes months or even a year later. But if we don't write it down when we get it, we lose it. It's lost. So voice record, you know, text yourself, email yourself, write it down in a notebook, every idea that you have, because this is a time of genius. This is a time of genius ideas, and we need every single one of them. All of us do. Uranus has gone retrograde, which is no doubt going to shake a lot of things up. I also did a video on Uranus retrograde, which I will put in the description box below, just to sort of add some flavor to this. You know, whenever one of these big outer planets changes, you know, when they change their movement, we feel it. It's noticeable. And so one of the benefits of Uranus retrograde is this freeing up of the constraints of our minds, which is in total perfect alignment with everything we've got going on here. Again, that dual nature, to free up what is hidden, free it up so it can be manifest, so that Virgo can harvest it and we can enjoy reaping the benefits of these harvests together as one human family. So let's talk about some asteroids. already mentioned asteroid Demeter, a little too wide, but still interesting. We have the asteroid Percival, who was a knight of the Round Table. Now, he was involved in the quest for the Holy Grail. He eventually attained it. He is the one who attained the Holy Grail after many trials and tribulations. And he was able to do this because of his purity of heart and great virtuousness. Virgo. And the Grail symbolizes this mystical union with the divine, dual nature becoming one. And so Percival, as a character and as an energy involved with this new moon, helps us sort of wipe the mirror so we can see our true worthiness of such an experience, of such a divine union with the actual divine. Asteroid Pomona, which means apple. I mean, I already mentioned Virgo as the dual nature of Eve and Lilith in this quest for knowledge. You know the rest of that story. So there's some interesting things going on with Mercury aside from the Supergalactic Center. Asteroid Pele. I'm telling you, Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes, is like one of my most beloved beings. She embodies the dual forces of creation and destruction. She's lightning, fire, dance, passion, tumult, creation, destruction. She destroys land and she creates new land and new life at the same time. Mercury is also conjunct asteroid Requiem, which is, means, mass for the repose of the soul of the dead, is a funeral. Now, what's interesting here is that there's a fixed star, El Kafra, I think it's called El Kafra or Al Kafra. And this fixed star is conjunct this new moon. It's in the Ursa Major constellation, the Big Bear, the Great Bear. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in Arabic that this constellation is referred to as a funeral procession. So this sort of, if a theme is sort of comes up more than once, I like to mention it because it brings us another layer. So what does this mean in this framework of what we're talking about? Well, we have the dual nature of life and death. We have, which is, we can see this in alignment with Pele as in creation and destruction, the sacred cycles, the mutability of Virgo, where we want to be at peace with the cycle of creation, destruction, creation, destruction. And there's no need to fear it. There's no need to avoid it. It is unavoidable anyway. The best we can do is to surrender with grace and do our best to pull these opposing energies together into that holy grail of self, where we can truly be in union with the divine within, with the divine of all of creation, with the great mystery. The Big Dipper has fascinated humanity forever. It's so noticeable. You really can't miss it. There is also an association with gazelles with with this constellation, and with the Indian god Vayu, I'm probably saying that wrong, Vayu, this god is related to prana and the breath. And this is a very Gemini thing, the breathing, the lungs, the two twins, the dual nature. Prana is that invisible life force, although it is not invisible. And actually, this is something that in my private community, the deep divers community, the last live workshop we did was on scrying. And one of the practice exercises that I taught was about how to see prana, how seeing prana, how learning to see it. See, I'm looking around and I can see prana all around me. How learning to see in between the dual nature of here and that wall, in between those spaces is all of this prana. Of course, within all of those spaces as well. But being able to see that with my physical eyes helps me see into hidden worlds, all the hidden worlds within myself, within you, within all of us, within our world. Hidden worlds, baby. So I hope you have an amazing Virgo new moon. Come join us in my private community, the Deep Divers. If you feel like doing some of this really fun, powerful, magical work together, I will see you soon.